Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? Now, my friend Alex, who's here watching us shoot today, told me that my jacket reminds her of that. She used to watch it when she was little. And I kind of was familiar with that reference, but not 100%. But I am familiar with 5 reasons why you might want to save, if not hoard, these heavy plastic nursery buckets. Because I do. Partly because I'm thrifty, partly because I don't want them to end up in the landfill, and most importantly because they are just brilliant in executing their job in the garden. So let me tell you some of the reasons why I hoard and hold on to these plastic buckets. Number 1, I love to use baskets in the garden, like this one. And you may recall earlier in the season, I had these framing the entrance to the potager, and they were filled, spilling over with scented geraniums and all sorts of different kinds of plants. Now, I obviously did not plant directly into the basket, but I did put a liner in here that then protected the basket. And what I love about that is when that season is done with those kind of cascading annuals and seasonal color, I can then take this out and then just plop in another one that I have in reserve that's already growing and maturing and looking good. So they're really wonderful for that reason. Here's another example of that. I've got one that is just sitting here inside of this basket. So that's reason number 1. They are wonderful to just plop and plant. Number 2, I love them because it makes moving things into the greenhouse that much easier. These are light, they are portable, and they can work in a way that looks substantive in the garden, but they're also kind of temporary. So Stuart, if you would show, see this gorgeous Eugenia topiary right here? That is not frost hardy, and that's going to have to come in. Now it looks as if it is planted in this concrete planter, but oh no, it's not. It's just sitting in there, and then I've mulched the top with gravel. When it starts getting, when the temperatures start getting really low, and when I am ready to haul all of these plants away to the greenhouse to overwinter, all I have to do is just lift this out in its plastic pot, and it will then be very easy and very flexible and lightweight to move into the greenhouse. So that's another reason I really like to use them. The other thing that's brilliant about that is when you just set something like these into, whether it's a terracotta pot or an urn or a concrete pot, what that does is give it another layer of protection and a way to keep moisture in. So your larger terracotta pots are very, very porous. They wick away moisture very quickly. This is a way to kind of hold on to some of that moisture. The other thing it does is it protects the planter. So I talked in a recent video about ways to protect your terracotta pots. This would be another way. Use a liner inside the terracotta pots so that the moisture doesn't really seep into the sides of the terracotta. You know, where there will then be lots of expansion and contraction, and it might make the pot crack, it might make it flake or whatever. So it will also help the durability and the integrity of your terracotta pots. Now, another reason, I guess I'm on my reason number 4, is that right, Alex? Am I reason number 4? Okay, keep me honest. I love them because I think they have kind of a really good modern vibe. So this is one that I just did a faux finish on, and I'll put a link below to the episode where I showed how to do a faux finish. But there's a way that you can make them look as if they're not plastic, as if they're real. And I'm thinking that next year I'm going to do a whole bunch of these that are in the same shape, and I think I'm going to do kind of a faux zinc finish on them. That will look really modern. It will look very sleek, and all I will be doing is reusing these plastic pots. The other thing I like about these heavy ones versus some that are a little thinner, is that they are just sturdier, I think, and a little bit more formidable, yet still lightweight. So these are going to be great. And you'll notice that this Silverata sage here in a topiary form, this is 4 or 5 years old, I think. It's in one of these plastic containers, and I can just drop it into a basket or whatever. The other place I can just drop it in, and another reason I love these, is because it is drop-in instant maturity and instant seasonal vibe. So in the back, where I have a huge mound of all sorts of autumnal colors, that's actually in a pot, you guys, that is elevated on a plant stand. So if let's say in my back border, it's filled with larkspur and poppies, and they're absolutely beautiful, and then all of a sudden they're gone. Their season is over. If I have a pot like this waiting in the wings, filled with annuals and seasonal color cosmos or zinnias or sunflowers, something that's going to fill in the gap after those other early season annuals are finished, all I have to do is plop this in and I have immediate color. It's what they do a lot at public gardens or even some private gardens that have to look good year round, and it has to look good immediately without a lot of time to mature and flower and grow in place. So it gives you instantaneous drama, and then you can just kind of nestle the pot behind an existing shrub so you don't even know it's there, and it gives you beautiful layering and maturity in the garden. Lastly, I like them because not only am I saving these pots from the landfill, but it's going to help me save some of my current plantings from the landfill or the compost pile as well. Now, many of you have asked, what am I going to do with all of those huge white mums that I planted in the front? Well, when they're done, I'm going to take them out and I'm going to plant them all in here. I can then overwinter them in this. They will continue to grow in place, and next spring when they bloom for the first time, it's going to be a huge white mound of mums that I can then plop in place somewhere for lots and lots of drama. Another reason, so this might be the bonus, a bonus reason, is I also like to save these because this fall, right, let's say the week or 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, I'm going to be potting up and planting all of my spring bulbs for next year. So I really like to use these for container grown bulbs. Again, because they're lightweight, I can store them in the garage, and when they get ready to bloom, I can just plop them into a basket. So there you go. 5 reasons to save these black nursery pots.